Hey, what's up, peeps? Welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. Today we're going to go over some comic books, but before we do that, I want to show you, just a tidbit out of my collection. This is the all-new X-Men. This is when they released the comic book. They actually released these figures. They're Toys R Us exclusives, and they were about 75 bucks. Me and my comic book buddy, comic book Wendell, he actually bought that for me, and I thought it was pretty cool. Now, here's my Xenomorph. This Xenomorph, I was in Walmart, and I saw it, and I fell in love with it. I love the dark packaging, love all that stuff that, comes with it. It's actually like a pretty big figure. It's actually like 7 feet tall. So out of the packet, he's 7 feet tall. Right now, he's about 6 feet because he's on his knees in the package. And if you allow my sexy hands to interrupt your video, I just wanted to show you my video game Predator. Basically, it's just a repaint of the I think you call him Jungle Hunter or something like that. It's just a repaint, but it's actually very, very cool. If I had the Xenomorph, I definitely had to get it a Predator figure. So, yeah. All right, guys, you know what time it is. Let's get into some comics. Okay, so starting the video off, we have pit number 1. Not only was I able to pick up pit number 1, but I was also able to pick up pit number 2. This is, basically part of my childhood. That's the reason why I bought them. They don't go for too much, but it's still nice to have that 90s nostalgia. Another cool buy was Predator number 4. Yeah, I picked this guy up strictly because I'm a Predator fan. Huge Predator fan, especially Predator 2 and Predator 1. Predator 1 is up there with my favorite movies of all time. This is another book that I was able to pick up strictly for nostalgia. This is, when Image Comics was actually launching. They did a character by the name of Prophet, and this is Prophet number 1. I'm not sure what they go for now, but I know back in the day we used to go crazy over, these Image titles. Yeah, back when I was younger, yeah, Image was like really blowing up. Young Blood, all those boys. And now it's nice to see that they're still on top with stuff like The Walking Dead and some of their older titles. This is another book that I was blessed to pick up. It's the first appearance of the Blue Beetle. And even if this isn't the first appearance of the Blue Beetle, I have his first appearance. This would be my second copy of this book. I always thought it was very cool. The Blue Beetle is a classic character, and it was nice to see that DC was actually revamping their heroes way before Marvel started pimping out their heroes as of recently. So it's pretty cool take on it. And everybody has gone to the comic book shop and you bought a book and, didn't notice that it was another book in the same package because it was in the back. Well, that's what happened with this one. The guy didn't care. He said, go ahead and take it. So I took it. This is A Brave New World. This would be my second copy. The significance about this book to me is that's one of my favorite artists. That is Olivetti. Olivetti's art style is very, very unique just to him. I love his run he did with Cable and Hope. His artwork in that book is amazing. Matter of fact, let me show you. I'm down in the dungeon. Give me 1 second. Okay, and here's some of Olivetti's artwork. Very cool, man. If you can see, his artwork is basically like, I don't want to say everybody's drawn kind of the same, but it's still like so unique and a fresh take on the Punisher, a fresh take on Cable. Both guys kind of are similar anyway. One's more of a technological guy. The other is more of a, street guy. But yeah, Olivetti, he's perfect at drawing certain characters, especially like big characters like the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, like Scar. Case in point, here's another one of Olivetti's drawings. It's Scar, son of Hulk. This is Incredible Hulk, the son of Banner. It's a hardcover. All 3 of these are hardcovers, the one comic book being in the middle. And yeah, what more can I say about his artwork? Let's look at the back of the books. Okay, and so the first book is actually, this is when Banner was training Scar on how to fight the Incredible Hulk, and Scar actually went up against Juggernaut in this book, and obviously he went up against Daken, Wolverine's son. The second book is when Cable first took Hope and jumped into the future, and Bishop was right on his tail trying to kill Hope. And the third book is The Punisher versus Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter was going around collecting all these. Well, that's Craven the Hunter's son, but he was going around collecting all these animal themed villains. So he captured the rhino and all this other kind of stuff. And the funny thing about the outcome of that book is the Punisher told Rhino, hey, since I rescued you, you owe me one. And pretty soon Rhino did have to, owe Punisher one. But very, very good run, man. I love this. Okay, now, I was blessed to find this in the 50-cent bin. This is Cable and Deadpool. Let's see what number it is. This is number 43. And the cool, significant thing about this run is this is actually, the second or third time that this is actually the third time that Wolverine and Deadpool actually crossed paths and actually had a straight up battle. And then this battle, Wolverine had detached Deadpool's head from his body, and Deadpool's body was running around trying to attach his head because he said if he didn't attach it within a certain amount of time, that he would actually die. So I think that's one of the ways that you can actually kill Deadpool is by chopping off his head and keeping it separated from his body. I know Wolverine eventually did that with Sabretooth. But yeah, this is a cool run. I like seeing when Wolverine fights like the Punisher. I have some of those when Wolverine became a mob boss and the Punisher came after him. So I love to see, heroes fight each other. So not only was I able to pick up number 43, but I was also able to pick up 44. And these books actually do pretty good on places like eBay and stuff like that. I wouldn't sell them, but yeah, they do pretty good on places like eBay and stuff like that. So very, very nice. The outside artwork is nothing like the inside artwork. The inside artwork is more sensible. So yeah. So almost every video I talk about filling up the holes or plugging the holes and plugging the gaps of the ship of your comic books. This is my run on Hush, and I had to end up buying a trade paperback because I was missing like two of the key issues in this run. But the cool thing was I was able to find this run for 50 cents on some of the books. This book I actually picked up back in the day, right off the shelf at cover price. And this is Batman number 608. And this is where it all began. This is when Jim Lee came back to DC. So not only do I have 608, I'm missing 609, but I have 610 with Killer Croc. Missing 611 and 612, but this is 613, Harley Quinn. 614, cool Joker cover. 615 with Nightwing. 616 with Raish. 617, I'm almost sure that's the book when Clayface act like he was Jason Todd. And that's the first time you had some kind of inclination that they were going to bring Jason Todd back. Red Hood. 618. Cool cover. I always love that cover with Hush's eyes overlooking Jason Todd's body and Batman running. Jim Lee. 619. And lastly, 619 variant. So, pretty cool. Now, that this whole run, I got about 4 or 5 books for 50 cents. Definitely a 619 variant on the end with Batman's villains or his rogue gallery. I got that one for 50 cents. Very cool offer, very cool buy. The guy's cool. I go to his comic book shop all the time when I'm in that certain part of Georgia. It's Dave's Comics. And the guy really doesn't care. He's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, He just throws his books in the box. They're nice and neat. They're clean. It's a clean store. He just one of those old school dungeons that have comic books freaking everywhere. I mean, you can't even get in his shop. There's so many books. But if you like Golden Age, Bronze Age, he have those for like $2. Any of the back issues that's like up to this point, they're 50 cents. And even if you find a gem, he won't even care. He'll be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you got me. Go with it. And I love that type of comic book shop because it's Second and Charles. And most places, they're not going to do stuff like that. They're just going to be like, hey, you know the price of it. We're going to check Amazon before we check you out and make sure, you know what I'm saying, that that's what the price is going online. You know, Dave doesn't care. So, yeah, I'm going to complete this run of Hush pretty soon. I'm just missing like, what, 3 books. So, until then, I'll read my trade paperback to keep me busy. So, this is just another instance of how cool Dave's is from Dave's Comics. I found this in the 50-cent bin, and he said, yo, you got me. Go ahead. And this is a first appearance of Damian Wayne. Batman number 655. Now, there is an early appearance of Damian Wayne as a baby, but this is considered like his first appearance because I guess he's a little older or whatever. And there seems to be some misconception on what happened with Batman. Yes, Talia did get him drunk one night, and they actually had sex, and, you know, that's where Damian comes from. But he was actually genetically modified in a test tube to be, I guess, a more of a kind of like a apocalyptic take on him to make him as best of a person as possible or a human being as possible. So yeah, they did consummate, you know, Damien, but he was also genetically altered. So, and you know, if you read any of the recent Batman books, he actually has this big brother. Like, I mean, it's the same. It's his brother, but he's like super huge and super crazy, and he's the one who actually killed Damian Wayne when Damian Wayne died. So this is a pretty cool find, you know, for 50 cents. Can't thank Dave enough for, you know, not caring and taking care of his customers, and just a cool place to go. So for good measure, I also picked up 657. I thought this cover was pretty cool. I know that when I did read this trade paperback, Damian almost killed Tim Drake, and Batman had a fit about it. He was like very upset with Damian. But yeah, pretty cool. Cool finds. And just for good measure, Dave also threw in the Shadow of a Bat for like a quarter. So yeah, this is Shadow of the Bat number 6. Pretty cool cover. I'm not sure who's the artist. I haven't really got a chance to even unpack the van and get all my stuff together. You know, I just got off the road, but yeah, pretty cool. So about a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, me and Comic Book Window, we went to Dragon Con, and by that time, I already had this book. I was like, yeah, I got the Wolverine limited series, so I got you on as far as, you know, key issues. And Window was like, oh yeah, well, check this out. So not only did he get like number 1, he upped the ante. He upped the ante on me and got number 2. But wait, there's still more. He got number 3. By this time, I'm like steamingly jealous. I just want to kind of like knock him out and take his books away from him, but that would be attempted robbery. So number 3, and he just totally took a total dump on me by completing the series with number 4. So now he has the bragging rights. You know, he could be like, hey, your favorite character, I got his complete miniseries, first time solo, you know, the whole set. You know, I do have number 1. I'm happy to have it. Good God. So it's pretty cool. The story about this is that Wendell moved out of state, and he actually left a good bit of his comic book collection with me. And he actually left these in the comic book collection. So I think I'm going to go ahead and, you know, read them. Yeah, so the cool thing about this is that he actually left to go to Colorado, and he left these with me. And I'm very humbled and appreciative that he would know that I can keep his books safe. And if it was me, I really wish I had somebody in my life where I could be like, hey, here's my books. I'm moving away for a while. Keep them safe. But yeah, man, I'm gonna keep them safe for them. But I'm definitely gonna read them. I'll probably read them like with some gloves on, like I'm at a crime scene investigation. But this is one of the coolest things I've ever, seen in my life. The complete run of Wolverine solo series. Very cool. Okay, so we got to the point in the video where you asked me, hey, what are we reading right now? And this is what I'm reading right now. This is X-Force Volume 2, Old Ghost. And that's a Mike Choi, something like that, cover. Very, very nice artwork, man. I'm a fan of this guy. Um, yeah, there's nothing I could really say about this. This is like the first time that Domino joined the X-Force. And just a good story. I don't want to give it away. You have to really read it yourself. And here's a look at the back of the book. Not only did Domino join X-Force in this arc, but also you had the return of Archangel. So it's very cool. Here's a look at the synopsis if you want to, pause it and read it. But yeah, I'm going to show you that cover one more time. That cover is like so cool. I actually drew that cover. I couldn't take it. Like when I see a cover that's so cool, I will turn around and draw it. Okay, here's a look at that cover again. Pretty cool. Look at that. All right. And that's Wolverine and Domino. So I kind of went a little image crazy while I was in Dave's. Usually I'll pass the image books and be like, but some of them I had to get back in my collection. This is Bloodstrike #1. So happy to have this. I think that's none other than Liefeld. I'm almost sure that's Liefeld. You see his signature at the bottom. And I also picked up this Brigade #1. Now y'all have to help me out because I know nothing about this, but Dave was like, hey, it's in the back of another book, so go ahead and take it. You get both of them for 50 cents. So he basically threw this and told me to get out the door with it. So this is Boris the Bear, Slaughter, the Teenage Radioactive Belt Mutant Ninja Critter. I don't know, that's weird. But anyway, yeah, he threw this one in for free. And that was actually in the back of this Blade 2 book, which is an adaptation from the film, I would say. So yeah, pretty cool. I got this along with my Blade run that you saw in the last video. Yeah, it was pretty cool. He threw the Boris the Bear in. I got this Blade, as you can see in the last video. It came with that run, that Blade #2 that I bought, that completed my Blade 1 through 4. I guess you would say run. So yeah. So I actually saw this, in the quarter bin. Picked it up for a quarter, and I'm proud to say that now I'm collecting my old Wizards again. This is an iconic cover. This has all the X-Men females. I don't think it's a fold out cover, but yeah, it's pretty trippy to go back and look at the prices of some of the books versus now what they're worth. So yeah, man, cool find. And here's a look at the back of the Wizard magazine. Remember those, the masterpieces? I didn't know all this time that was one artist, point blank period, that drew all the masterpiece cards. So that's pretty cool. And this actual wizard still has a poster on the inside of all the X-Men females. Well, a small bit of them because you still have like Dazzler. Still got a couple more like Kitty Pryde. She's not on there. Was Jean on there? I don't think Jean was on there, but yeah, man. Yep, Jean was on the cover. Jean was on the cover. The only one we're missing is, I think, like Kitty Pryde. I know it's some more X-Men girls that I can't figure out right now. I know we got Rachel Gray. Back then, I don't think she was on the X-Men, but yeah. And for our main event, brothers and sisters, we have Franken Castle. Now, this is a pretty cool, very thick hardcover book. This is when Frank Castle actually dies at the hand of Wolverine's son Dakin, and he's resurrected as this Frankenstein-like monster. If you're a huge Punisher fan, you have to have this in your collection. This is like a very good story. At first, I thought it was going to be wacky and kind of crazy, but it actually ended up being pretty good and a very serious, deep book. And my favorite part of the book is not only the beginning when he actually dies and Dakin takes him out in the sewers. Uh, the revenge part is one of the best. Um, I mean, he beat the hell out of Dakin and almost left him for dead. I'm almost thinking, yeah, Wolverine got involved too. So it was a tussle between the three of them. So very cool story. Very good art. I would suggest this to you if you're like a Punisher fan, like I said before, and very good read. So here's a look at the front of the book, and here's a look at the back. It was drawn by, the killing part of Frank Castle was drawn by John Romita Jr. Now, Romita Sr., I'm a huge fan of, but Jr., he has his own style. I don't too much, I'm not going to be negative. But anyway, but I did like his drawing in this when he actually killed Frank Castle and turned him into Franken Castle. So here's a look at the back. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit more so you can actually, if you want to, you can read the synopsis. You can pause it. And yeah, pretty cool. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. You guys be safe out there. Keep collecting. You only live once. You can't take the money to the grave with you, so you might as well spend it on what you like. And remember, life is short, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!